Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Sports Live with Steve and Justin. Baseball. I'd love to talk about baseball. We will talk about baseball, but I gotta say, it ain't like it used to be. It's. I remember talking about baseball from the day spring training start, looking at the players, watching the thing. Now nobody's paying any attention to that until they start making money on April, whatever, when they start. But here we are at Sports Live with Steve and Justin.
Take me out to the ball game, sung by Edward Meeker, Edison Ragland. Shaky Casey was baseball mad, had the fever and had his bat. Just to root for the hometown through every stew. Casey Blue. On a Saturday, her young beau called to see if she'd like to go to see a show. But Miss Kate said no. I'll tell you what you can do. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win in the game, well, it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
There we have it. The 1908 version of Take Me Out to the Ball Game when it was first written. All that shows me is that, Justin, is that even back then there was such, I mean, you're talking about almost 100 years ago, 120 years ago.
Over 100, yeah.
Almost 119 years ago when that song was written and popular. And now it's totally different. It's just a totally different thing. That excitement doesn't seem to be there anymore for me, because it's the looming strike that's coming, or whatever's going to happen. It's hard to say, but let's talk about baseball a little bit anyway. So how are you, Justin?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I'm hanging in.
I'm a little tired, but yeah, I'm okay.
I'm a little tired too. I didn't do anything. I'm finally getting over being sick.
It's nice to have you back.
I feel a little clearer today. I feel it's been a while. I sat out in the sun a little bit.
Got your vitamin D. Good for you. Yeah, baseball is nearly here, although it's here on the world stage for sure. But I'll tell you, every time it rolls around this time of year, when we start to thaw out and you see the green grass and you could smell the fresh cut grass for the first time in the spring, and you get that morning dew, you just know baseball is here. And it's still got that same feeling for me when you first recognize it all over again, coming out of the doldrums of the winter.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's what today reminded me of, that first warm day, being outside, and it reminds you of baseball. It reminds me, and I know it reminds you. Baseball used to be the sport because it was in the summer. There were many games. You used to be able to afford to go. There was always a game. Somebody never wanted to go. Somebody had tickets, or you bought them, or when you played Little League, Little League's got the tickets in the upper decks. My father was in a union. There would be union events that would go, and
Yep.
all the guys he worked with would go, which were, my father worked in a factory, and all my uncles worked there, and my cousins. Everybody worked there but me. They knew better. And my other cousin, who worked there 2 days, and they hated him, so they're like, it's an assembly plant, they assembled automobiles, and they tortured my cousin. He was left-handed, they would give him right-handed jobs where he had to climb under the car and screw in a bolt or 2 bolts and then come back out. And, they do 60 cars an hour, so you're doing that 60 times, once every minute. And it's a right-handed job, and he's left-handed. They tortured him. You can only imagine how that went. I think he was a couple of days before he got fired or he quit. I don't know, but
I'm sure he did his best.
yeah.
Yeah, it's nice this time of year when you start to settle into the oncoming baseball season and you're sifting through, you know, what used to be what you only read in the paper. Now, baseball, it's 24 hours and it's every day, just like football. It's nice though to have the break of the off season because I think you need that. You need to step away for a minute, recharge, clear your head, watch a little football, and then when
Great.
baseball starts, the season doesn't really get rolling until June or maybe even the All-Star break at this point. But it's nice not to be saturated with it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week like the NFL. Today's NFL free agent frenzy was too much for me. I was like, I want to hear more about the World Baseball Classic.
Well, I just saw something pop up on my screen. It just happened. The Bears traded wide receiver DJ Moore to the Bills.
Well, we talked about that, right? We talked. Oh, the Bills. So I guess Diggs is out in Buffalo.
Right.
Or I'm
Well,
sorry, he's with the
that's a good
Patriots. He's
that's a
been
good
out.
upset. He's
But
been out,
we knew
but
they needed wide receivers, and we knew Moore was gonna be on the move after what happened in the playoffs.
yeah. So anyway, let's not talk about football because it's all flashing up on my screen here on my right. So I'm trying not to look, but they're like all everybody's flipping out. There's all kinds of posts. So let's stick with baseball for a minute. Let's at least talk about what we're looking at. The teams are finished and starting. Where do you want to start?
It's funny you said the teams. The first thing that popped up was Israel eliminated, and I had to take it. I had to look twice to make sure we were talking about baseball. So it's interesting how the format plays out. I guess it's a random drawing, or at least they try to match teams evenly, so to speak. I guess you don't want all the top teams in one competition to start the format. But it looks like Team USA loaded up. They've got everybody in place. They want to win this thing, and I think they're coming off the USA hockey victory. I know that they're not related in any way, but I think these pro athletes see what it meant to the hockey players, and these baseball players see, they get invited to the White
Right.
House, they got a gold medal, and they're heroes all across the country. And baseball itself, and I think the players realize this as well as Major League Baseball with this, looming work stoppage, that this might be their only chance to win something in this window, right? So I think Team USA is really taking it seriously. They're not taking it for granted. Judge, who hit a home run in his first at bat in spring training, hit a home run in his first at bat in the World Baseball Classic. So I think that set the tone for Team USA. And they've got some mashers in that lineup, Harper and Schwarber. I like the collection of players. The pitching staff is top notch. I know it was Scooble was trying to decide whether or not he was going to pitch again for Team USA. And, critics were hammering him about taking time to make that decision. But,
Right.
there's big money on the table here for that guy. And, I would never be in that position. I'd want to play for Team USA. I know he wants to, but it just came across my feed that he won't pitch again for Team USA, which is I think it's a shame, but I can't really
It's weird.
criticize him for whatever his decision. I'm sure he
Yeah,
had to
I mean,
have
where the
discussion with his family and his agent and everything.
you know what? I don't even care. I mean, play wherever you want to play. It's world baseball. It doesn't feed the same to me.
No, it
Hockey
doesn't because I
does
think
because hockey. These guys all came from these countries. All right.
yeah,
How
yeah.
many people from Israel are playing in the Major League Baseball? I mean, come on.
I have to look at the roster. I'm sure there's a few because I know
Maybe.
you can play. You don't have to play for the country you were born in. You can play for your heritage. So they allow that, which I think is cool. I think that
I agree.
allowing
I
guys to
I
play. You
agree,
want the
but
talent in the World Baseball Classic. It's not an amateur event like the Olympics used to be. So you want all the best talent out there if it's feasible. I know major league teams probably are holding their breath that nobody gets hurt, but outside of US born players or US players solely, these
right.
other countries give everything they got. And you see it on TV especially when you watch Puerto Rico play the Dominican Republic. the stadium is on fire from the first pitch to the last out, and it's incredible. It's incredible atmosphere.
Dominican Republic is an exception to everything. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
all those ball players come from there. New York fans are have a large Dominican fan base. I'm sure there are other places too, but living in New York, I mean, every person you meet that came from the Caribbean is either from Jamaica or from Dominican Republic.
I love to see that baseball is that popular and
Puerto
that there's a
Rico, too.
fervor for it in these other countries, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Cuba. Now, I know it's mostly Latin America, but the Japanese fans are just as rabid as they are.
Well,
I know it's
Japan
a
is
different culture altogether, but
right.
I mean, you can't tell me that they're not vested in their national team. Nationalism these days is kind of poo-pooed in certain circles, but at least in baseball, it's celebrated and it's revered and it gives you a rooting interest. It makes the games more watchable. I like it. I really I get a huge kick out of it. I love that it's competitive for the United States and we can't take for granted because I don't think have we ever even won the damn thing. I don't think we've ever won it.
No.
Right? It started in 2006, so it's already 20 years old. So it's pretty incredible.
I mean, my problem is the timing of it all. It's during spring training. I mean, it should be, it's good for the World Baseball Classic, but it's not the same. It's not the same. And we really should be talking about Major League Baseball. These guys.
Maybe baseball needs to consider the 2-week break like we discussed with basketball and hockey. Maybe that's.
I agree. That's where it should take place. The trouble is pitching, right? Other guys are less likely to get hurt. Pitchers always get hurt. And if you're going to have them out
this
there,
time of year, these guys aren't going more than 4 or 5 innings. Or based on pitch count, they're not going more than, 5 or 6 innings, I would imagine.
Until Major League Baseball figures out what the heck is going on with arms being blown out. I don't know if it's people are throwing hard from the time they're 12 or what, but there's something going on where all of a sudden these arms get blown out because it didn't happen 100 years ago. I mean, not 100 years ago, but
100 years ago, it didn't happen.
Look at the innings pitched.
It
Bob Feller or Warren Spahn or these guys. There weren't relief pitching.
Tommy John surgery didn't exist until when? The 70s?
Named after the guy he had to be at least a player.
Yeah, right. So it didn't exist before that. You didn't hear stories about guys blowing out their arms and getting cadaver parts put in and coming back from injury like that. They just either pitched through it or
he lived by Tommy John. We used to go past his house, like,
oh wow.
You see Tommy John?
The World Baseball Classic, I mean, I don't know that it could ever replace Major League Baseball, but when you consider the amount of talent that's available, and it's limited, right? But it's the best players in the world. They're entering this window now where are we going to have baseball next year? Probably not. It's conceivable, though horrific, that we might not have baseball in 2027 or 2028.
Right.
So these players, if given the opportunity, a world baseball entity of some sort might be the way to go. This might change the sport forever. I mean, I know that's, kind of a nuclear option, but it's definitely here to stay. I don't think it's going anywhere. It's so popular. And it's not like they have Olympic baseball is not the same as it was. I don't even think they even have Olympic baseball anymore in the Summer Olympics.
It depends where they play, right? The reason it was here when we were Summer Olympics, which are going to be here, right? They're in LA. The home team gets to pick what they want to do. Of course, I'm sure we picked flag football this time, but everybody's texting me. It's 69 degrees. No, I live in a tunnel. So I know that I could see the entire golf course in back of me now because all the snow is melted.
All the snow is gone.
And they took down all those trees, what didn't fall. And now you can see the whole golf course. It's really a nice look. Anyway, So, and I see this conversation too online about who's the best player in baseball. And when people do not say Aaron Judge, I am mystified.
It's one of two guys.
Yeah, but
For me,
Ohtani
it's
doesn't play the
I
same.
know I'm a homer, but for me, it's him.
No,
For
but
me, it's Judge.
Ohtani doesn't play the same, right? He's a pitcher, he got whatever, and he doesn't hit every day, whatever. It really, really is Aaron Judge. I don't care what anybody says. Every game he's there hitting homers and playing. He's a beast. To me, listen, Ohtani's an amazing player. He does things that no one's ever done before. There's no question. That doesn't make him the greatest player in baseball at this time.
I think people hunker down on their argument for their player, but both of those players are iconic players, and they are both, faces of the franchise, so to speak, for Major League Baseball. And if you're Major League Baseball and you can't sell Aaron Judge and grow the sport, shame on you, because this is a guy who's got an incredible backstory. And I was told by Susan Waldman that Aaron Judge, she referred to him as a foundling because he was abandoned by his parents on the side of the road, and the people who took him in adopted him. It's an incredible story. She told me that he was atypical of his generation because he gets it. He knows his place. He's a humble guy. She had nothing but nice things to say about him when I asked, what it was like. This was back in 2017, right after Girardi got fired, 2018. And I was taken aback by that because I didn't expect that answer.
Right.
And it changed my perspective of I didn't really know who he was, but that just kind of made me want to root for him. And she said that in spring training, they have a wall where they put players' names, I guess, if they make the team. And I guess it's kind of like that scene in Major League where you open your locker and if you get the red tag, you're going to the manager's office and handing in your playbook kind of thing. But she had said to him, "Wouldn't it be great to see your name up there? Wouldn't that be your best day?" And Aaron Judge's answer was, "Susan, I've already had my best day." And she was kind of astonished by that answer. She said, "What do you mean?" He said, "My best day was the day my parents adopted me." And that floored me, because here's this guy on the precipice of making millions of dollars. He's got the world in the palm of his hands at the beginning of his career. And it just made me want to root for this guy. Like, wow, he really is a grounded human being. You don't really hear stories like that. I mean, obviously it's not a common story to be abandoned by your birth parents and adopted and so on. But it's an incredible story for a guy who's very humble and clearly appreciates what he has. And that's why I get so, you know, defensive when people were criticizing him for holding out or taking more money, whatever. He got what he deserved. He got what he was worth. He's worth whatever anybody wanted to pay him.
I think he puts fannies in his seats. He's good for the sport. He talks about, he never says a word out of line.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why he's the captain.
And he got that contract just 2 seasons ago. What would he be worth right now when you consider what they paid all these bums for 2 and 3 years to go to these places knowing there's a strike coming? I can't imagine what his salary would be today if he were a free agent.
Mm. So anyway, you want to talk a little bit, or you want to read through a roster, or do you want to move on to football?
Do you have the roster in front of you?
No, I don't.
Let me see if I can pull it up here. I know we've got Judge, we got Schwarber, who I absolutely love Kyle Schwarber. I think the Yankees I think both the Red Sox and the Yankees made huge mistakes. I thought the Yankees should have brought him in long before he went elsewhere. And it just goes to show where the Yankees are at these days, because it made so much sense to me that they should go get a guy like that.
I agree.
And I thought the Red Sox were foolish to let him go because he was perfect for them. And he's an incredibly clutch performer. The guy's an absolute monster at the plate. He's already hit a couple of home runs in this World Baseball Classic. Let me see if I can find it. WBC USA roster. Uh, I'll tell you a side story. Have you seen the Italian team? Have you seen Francisco Cervelli in the dugout making coffee?
Yeah, that's the best ever. They have a espresso, and I saw somebody wrote underneath in the comments, "That's okay. They deliver the cannolis at the seventh inning stretch." What's
That
better
was
than
great.
that? What is better than
Oh,
that?
here we go. So you got you got Scooble, who's now not coming back. You got Paul Skeens still, Logan Webb, Joe Ryan, and Nolan McLean, who is the Mets young phenom.
Right.
That's your 5-man rotation, but Scooble's out now. Then in the bullpen, they had Clayton Kershaw, which I thought was a great addition because I know he hasn't, he retired.
Right.
Obviously not the same pitcher he was, when he was in his prime, but I think that's a great addition because he can, if he throws his arm out, who cares, right? He's going to play to the max if he gets an opportunity here. Matt Boyd, Garrett Clevenger, Clay Holmes made the roster, which I was kind of surprised about that. Then Griffin Jacks, Brad Keller, Michael Wacha, the Yankees reliever Bednar, Gabe Spire, Garrett Whitlock, and the closer is Mason Miller. And it's interesting because you think that maybe they wouldn't just label or name somebody the closer, especially considering that it is still spring and these guys don't have all the innings under them. I thought maybe they would do like kind of a closer by committee or matchup thing or whatever, but they've got a pretty decent pitching staff. And I know there's extra players, right? There's like the lineup, the roster's got like, it's more than a 25-man roster. Down on the bench, you have Will Smith as a backup catcher, I think, right? Bryce Turang, Ernie Clement, Paul Goldschmidt is on the team, and another former Met, P. Crow Armstrong, who is an incredible ball player. I mean, I still can't believe the amount of talent the Mets have given up in the last few years. It's just
Unbelievable.
Incredible. And then you got in the outfield for Team USA, you have Corbin Carroll, Byron Buxton in center, and Aaron Judge in right field. And you have Bryce Harper at first base, Gunnar Henderson at second base, Bobby Witt Jr. is playing short, and Alex Bregman at third. I mean, that's a pretty formidable offensive lineup as well as defensive. And then Cal Raleigh behind the plate, the big dumper. So you would imagine he's probably going to have a few blasts in this series. And it's going to, it's going to get tougher from here on out for Team USA. And then somewhere in there, I know I didn't mention, but somewhere in there is Kyle Schwarber. I guess he's the D. And he's already hit 2 huge bombs for Team USA. So I like the lineup. Some say it's the best lineup they've had. I don't know about that. I know it's probably the best pitching staff they've had, at least from the starting position.
Well, that's because pitchers seem to be more inclined to go play. It used to be that the teams didn't want them to play so much. I think teams have lost control of their players in that.
Yeah. It's funny because Major League Baseball helped promote this.
Right.
But then the owners it's kind of like when you have that friend that, you're in a, I hate to say it this way, but you're in a bar fight and they're holding you back, but he's pushing you from behind.
Right.
It's a weird dynamic, to say the least.
Well, that's because they want the publicity, but
they want the money.
They don't want to risk, the player.
Yeah, it's here to help promote the sport on a global level because clearly Major League Baseball wants to move into the global market. And this
they better do something because they're losing. You know what they should do? They should worry about bringing young people in. They haven't done any of that. I mean, I think it'll be easier to talk about Major League Baseball when we get closer to opening day, and this is over. And I think it's good. I think we talked about what we need to do, and we can move on to.
It's a passionate event, that's for sure. I mean, when you see the international crowds, they're into it. So that's nice to see that.
Right. I want everybody to realize that we are going to talk a lot about baseball when it's more relative. It's hard now with the WBC to talk about these teams and what they're going to have. It's also hard with the looming strike. It really just makes us think differently about things. So I don't know. Else, you have anything else to say on it, or do you want to move on?
No, the strike is the one thing that kind of perplexes me, but
Right.
I think we know the answer to that is that baseball is looking to move into the global market, and they're going to promote the crap out of this.
Well,
Obviously, if Team USA wins, that helps them tremendously.
I wish they had a commissioner that knew what he was doing. I really don't think he does.
I just don't
No
think they
offense to him
have.
personally, but I just don't think he has the mindset for this. I think over the years, the commissioner's gotten weakened because he became a puppet, through the steroid crisis, for lack of a better word, that they just let it all go on and
They're being
but
held hostage by the
but
sports writers.
Steelig weakened the whole position by his behavior during that period. Having a former owner as a commissioner is a stupid idea.
Bud
Anyway,
Selig was terrible. I mean, he went to
Steelig was
court more
horrible.
times, and
So
he might be one of the worst human beings in the history of ever.
I don't know. So we'll leave it with that. Just let everybody know this is our favorite word. Baseball is our favorite word.
Baseball, 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 baseball.
God, I love this.
Baseball, 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 baseball.
I'm
I
sorry.
love it. Never gets old.
I never gets old. I'll play that every day. I was looking for a rule. I wanted to close it out so I could play that. So, anyways, yeah. So we're going to be talking a lot about baseball, but we really need a little bit more. I mean, BC is one thing. Next week we're going to talk a lot about basketball. It's something we haven't talked about. We're going to talk about the NCAA. That's always a great. And we're going to talk more. We're going to have a special guest on. You'll hear more about that next week, right?
Yep, we'll have Keith Spillett will join us from the American Basketball Hall of Fame, and we'll talk about that a little bit. And we'll talk. It'll be selection Sunday the day before, so we'll have all the tournament teams, and we could probably break down the 4 brackets.
So tight end Travis Kelce signs a $12 million deal with a max value of $15 million next year.
No kidding.
So that's something I
Wow.
kind of surprised about, but not really. The other thing I'm not surprised about either is that Tua was released and he signed with the Falcons a 1-year deal, and realized this is the part of the gig that I'm impressed the Dolphins did, and that is they're going to take a 2-year cap hit for $99 million split over the 2 years.
That's incredible.
That's an incredible hit, but it's got to be done. The guy's got to be done.
Absolutely agree. It had to be done. I still think it was foolish for them to make that deal in the first place, but you know, I hope Tua stays healthy. That's oh, I don't care if he wins or not. I just hope he stays healthy. Michael texted me that Stefanski's going to get him in the Pro Bowl, which at this point I'll believe anything because pretty much everybody goes to the Pro Bowl now. So if he earns it, good for him, though.
So, corner, I'm just reading what just happened. The Bills signed corner D. Alford, 3 years, $21 million. So that's a big thing for them. The Bills release cornerback Danny Jackson, safety Taylor Rapp, and wide receiver Samuel. So that's big. Giants re-signed their offensive tackle, Jermaine Almanora. Yeah, 3-year deal, $39 million, which includes $26 million guaranteed. That's big.
I heard the Giants were looking at Elijah Vera Tucker.
Yeah, I heard that too.
But maybe that's their move, and they won't go that way.
Yeah, Commanders.
The Jets.
I didn't see I saw the Jets.
So the Jets traded a 7th round pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick, so he'll come in and play safety. Now Fitzpatrick is he's still young enough that he's a factor, and I think we'll see what Aaron Glenn can get out of him. They signed a defensive lineman, Joseph Osai, 3 years, $36 million. They signed another defensive lineman, Kingsley Enagbare, 1 year, $10 million, and then they brought back Demario Davis, the linebacker, who Demario Davis, 37 years old, so still can play football, but at 37, I don't think you're expecting him to be around. I think they gave him a 2-year contract, so I'm
Right.
thinking that the Jets are definitely going to take Bailey with that number 2 pick and get a pass rusher. And then earlier today, I saw 3 different mock drafts that all had the Jets trading with the Chiefs, moving from 16 up to, I think the Chiefs had the 9th pick, but then the Chiefs signed somebody. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think that was speculation, but I could still see the Jets moving up because I think they're in a good position to do that, to move up to take Sonny Styles. The experts, so-called experts, have them taking a safety, but now that they signed Minka Fitzpatrick, I don't think you're gonna move on a safety that early in the draft, especially if you trade into the top 10 or 11. If they can get that pass rusher, Bailey, and then add Sonny Styles, I mean, I would say those are two solid picks. And if they pan out, you're going to have a pretty formidable defense.
Right. Well,
I don't know how you're going to pay all these guys if they pan out, but I mean, that's how you got to do it.
They had a lot of room. They had a lot of room.
They do. And I think they're set up. And like we said earlier, the beginning of the year, football year, that this was maybe on paper, it looked like the same old Jets, but aside from their head coaching situation notwithstanding, the GM seems like he's got a pretty good handle on things.
Right.
I still have to wonder if part of the plan is that they know a head coach that they want will be available come, this time next year, or, post Super Bowl, whatever, unless Aaron Glenn turns it around. But I don't know if you saw it. Did I send you the video of him sleeping at the draft?
Yeah, you did.
I had to rewind it 3 times. He's sleeping.
So the Cowboys signed, made some defensive.
Oh man, yeah, they loaded up.
Contract safety Jalen Thomas. They got Rashawn Gary from the Packers.
I love my Michigan bias, but I love Rashawn Gary. I think he's a great player. Yeah, I know that they were talking about bringing in, God, why can't I get Max Crosby from the Raiders? I know that was kind of where everybody thought the Cowboys were going to go, but that didn't pan out, I guess, because I don't know if they were in on that in terms of making a deal in the trade, but I'm just surprised that the Packers let Rashawn Gary go. He's a good player.
Yeah, but sometimes you got to shuffle the deck. You got to give them that. Sometimes you need to shuffle the deck, and that's pretty much what they're doing. You need people that don't realize how horrible they are to work for. Giants, they lost Cordell Flott, signed with the Titans. He's the cornerback.
Yeah, and they lost Wandale Robinson too. Wandale Robinson signed elsewhere. He signed with the Titans, I think. Yeah.
I'm just looking at that, but there was some Giants signed linebacker Tremaine Edmonds from the Bears. That's pretty good.
That's a big one. Yep. I mean, it's interesting to see these guys moving around after coming off good seasons for good teams. The Titans are having a good run today. They got Jonathan Franklin Myers. They added, what do you say, Jermaine Johnson, and I mean that's it's funny. It's all New York players. They're just signing Jets and Giants, but players love to play for their coaches, so it's shaping up to be a pretty formidable roster in Tennessee.
I'll give you this.
And they have a quarterback.
And I think this is one of the smartest signings that we've seen. The Chiefs signed Kenneth Walker III.
Unbelievable.
Because when you think about it, Kenneth Walker's one of those guys. What did you learn in the Super Bowl? You got to put somebody on him, because if you don't, he's going to eat you for dinner.
Yeah,
So,
he got his
but
opportunity to be the feature back in that offense, and he made the most of it for
right,
sure.
but in that offense, given that their quarterback comes back healthy, you need to put a guy on him too. All right, so now you have two guys covering two guys,
And Kelsey's back.
so I mean, it's. I think that is a great signing.
I was surprised only because I thought that they already had their running back in house, but that's a savvy move by
I think
a savvy coach.
I think, he's not the greatest running back, but I think he's special.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you get behind a good offensive line, and you could put your head down and go.
Yeah, I know there's a lot. It's hard to really get through all this, but I know there's a lot of a lot of wide receivers that played musical chairs. You have to kind of let the dust settle and see who everybody picked up, because
Looks like the Cleveland Browns are going to have an entirely new offensive line. It looks like everybody's jumping ship there.
yeah, but they picked up a couple guys too,
Yeah.
which they're forced to, right? Free
Well, I
agent
don't know that
guard
they had anything worthwhile on their offensive line. Their defense got all the
Zion
talent.
Johnson reached an agreement, and he's a free agent guard. With the Browns, so you don't see much. I know they picked up one defense. You don't see Houston picking up. I mean, Houston's a few players away from, they were weak. They got to figure out to get their quarterback through the forest, through the trees.
Yeah.
But
What's their cap situation?
I don't know that. That's not my
I was
specialty.
expecting them to retool and kind of addition by subtraction and have some attrition, but I think I hit the worst so far is the Buccaneers. They lost Mike Evans today to the 49ers.
Yeah, that's big.
Huge. That's a great addition for the 49ers. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
that's
especially with that
if you're
quarterback can
Brock
throw.
Purdy, you got to be so happy today.
And quarterbacks and Cowboys redid their entire defense, pretty
It
much.
takes some pressure off Asante Samuel, who they re-signed today. You have a legit outside threat now with Mike Evans.
And the
Sure-handed.
49ers signed offensive tackle Verderina Lowe, 2 years, $12 million max contract. So, I mean, they're working on not just that, they're building up their line. Listen, they're a tough team. I don't care what you say. They may have gotten their butt kicked, but it's different.
We learned this year that it's really, a few inches here or there, a ball bouncing in the right direction, and you're super.
The Raiders signed Quiddy Payne, too. He was
Another Michigan guy.
From Colts, yeah.
Quiddy pays good. His backstory's pretty cool
per
too.
year.
Good for him. He's a tough player. He's a hard worker. He's not flashy, but he's kind of a lunch pail guy, and he's tough.
It's funny, they let Max Crosby go, and I'm sure everybody said he went to the Ravens, of all places.
Incredible.
So, I mean, and that's a great addition for the Ravens. It's a great addition for anybody.
Yeah.
But they took one step back, but they signed a bunch of defensive players or a bunch of players that are going to make a difference on a team. And they have to, listen, Max Crosby's Max Crosby, but he isn't the quarterback. He can save a game for you, but he can't win a game for you. And they're putting in this quarterback that all roads are going to lead to him, right? Everybody's going to be talking about him. Is he as good as he says he is? Who knows? But, when you get to the NFL, things change. But
they're
really
setting themselves
like
up to cultivate a rookie quarterback. They're doing everything they can to build around him, which is, listen, that makes sense.
I think when you say that, you say to yourself, if you build a good team around him and he doesn't pan out, you're not going anywhere.
Right.
You're not forget it, let's go home. You're going to get rid of him and put somebody else in.
They're going to do everything they can. I mean, I would imagine Brady's, he knows what he's doing. He's got a plan. He knows that, they're probably going to be playing from behind in a lot of games. So they need to protect their quarterback more so than they need to rush the passer. You're probably not going to win a lot of games the next year or two. So Are you going to max out and pay Crosby and cost yourself the best route to cultivate your new quarterback? So
I think it's a great move for them. I think that's just the
and
way
then
it
in
is.
year 3, when you get, if he turns the corner and you get him to the next level and he's panning out and he proves that he belongs and he's making all the throws, et cetera, like we say all the time, progressing, then you go out and you sign the free agent pass rusher, free agent cornerback, you go get a linebacker. You can put that together to make a championship run. I mean, that's what the Rams do, right? I mean, they're at the top of my list. Yeah.
And you haven't seen them make any moves because I guess they're working on the draft. The Commanders made a lot of moves. They re-signed Mariota. They signed a defensive tackle, Tim Settle, 3 years, $24 million.
They got, who did they get? They got somebody big.
Who, the Commanders?
The Commanders.
Yeah, they got a wide receiver at I forget who it is.
Oh, they got Mariota. Yeah, you said.
They got Adafi Wa.
Yeah.
4 years, $100 million.
Yeah.
Had a great end of season last year. The deal includes $68 million guaranteed.
Guaranteed money. That's incredible.
What are you going to do? Quarterbacks are the issue, but if you can't get them and you can't protect them, why getting them killed? Because the biggest issue in the NFL is quarterbacks getting injured.
Everybody's getting injured. It's not just quarterbacks, but yeah, when your quarterback goes down, it's game over now.
And that's why people are hiring better second string quarterbacks that working with the system, that want to be these second string quarterbacks, that realize they can get their opportunities. Listen, that's why all the ex-Jet guys all got a job originally.
Well,
they became second string quarterbacks.
They had 4 or 5 years worth of experience.
Right. A lot of Bears lost people left and right. Oof. And the Titans signed a lot of people. Here's who's this? Trevon Smith. Titans are not done. They came to terms with, cornerback Anthony Taylor, former Saints star, and then he had a 3-year deal, $60 million with a $42 million guaranteed.
How about the Cardinals? What's going on? I know Kyler Murray's not. They
knows. You think they know? They haven't done anything.
No, but didn't they just sign? I know they signed the running back from the Falcons. They got Tyler
the backup corner from the Chiefs, Minshew, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
that's who they signed.
We know Kyler Murray's not coming back. I think the biggest signing
for
the
released
Raiders
him,
was Tyler, the center.
Don't you think?
Tyler Linderbaum.
Here's a guy who has a lot of talent, Kyler Murray. No one believes that he has any heart.
I believe he has heart. I just, it's his size.
They say you know what they say about him, that he doesn't, he could have played baseball. He doesn't seem that into it. He's disinterested. I mean, that's the guy you want to spend money on?
I think I don't know if I believe that part of it.
It's a lot of the
critique on him.
A lot of the critique on him.
I mean, I wouldn't go after him in free agency, but I think he takes some undue criticism as well.
Is that nobody reached out and signed him, right? A lot of people need quarterbacks.
Not yet.
Because he wants so much money.
Well, There's one team I know I don't want to see him in a uniform. I'll just leave it at that. But
I think he goes to Miami. I've thought that the whole time. I really do.
On top of them getting Malik Willis?
Malik Willis. You think he's a starter?
They gave him a boatload of money. I mean, it's
Where is that?
over 2 years. No, he went to Miami, Malik Willis. He got 3-year deal worth $67.5 million with the Dolphins. He got a $22 million signing bonus.
That's a lot of money. I guess I don't need him.
And then his
you know
2026 salary is only $1.2 million, fully guaranteed, but then 27 fully guaranteed $21 million. And then a roster bonus in March of 2028.
You know what that means? That means he's going to the Jets.
I knew you were going to say that.
He's going to the Jets. They're going to think he's the best things. Can you see Woody out there? We signed his great quarterback, drafted number 1 overall or whatever he was. I'm pretty sure he was. Great quarterback. We got him in. Yeah, because nobody else wanted him. And you're going to pay him twice what he's worth. And he's going to be out there. And he's going to be one of the little green men.
So
coming from Mars.
In my 2 Jets threads today, after Malik Willis signed with the Dolphins, I said to both threads, I hope this doesn't force the Jets to do something rash, knee-jerk, and stupid and sign Kyler Murray for more than he's worth. Because I think there's other options out there for them. And
I think a savvy guy waits around.
They have to get to next year's draft. I hate to say it, but they need a top quarterback. I don't know who it's going to be. I know everybody's saying Arch Manning, but maybe he'll pull a, what's the kid from Ole Miss? Didn't want to come out. He's trying for his 9th year of eligibility just to avoid playing for the Jets. We'll see what happens. I maintain this. I don't think the Jets should draft a quarterback at all. This year, next year, the year after that. They don't know how to cultivate quarterbacks. They just don't. It's not in their DNA, especially on the heels of Sam Darnold telling you, I didn't learn anything when I was with the Jets. Crucial piece of information. He didn't know how to break down a defense. He didn't know how to read a defense. So if the Jets aren't teaching you that, they're going to have to bring somebody in that knows how to do it already, because there's no sign whatsoever at this moment that the Jets have anybody in-house that can cultivate a quarterback. Zero sign. So I don't think they should get Kyler Murray because he's not that guy, right? If you told me they were going to get Kirk Cousins, I'd be okay with that because at least Kirk Cousins can read a defense and could probably run the offense by himself if they're only going to be concerned about taking care of the defensive side of the ball, because their defense was atrocious last year. So who knows where they're such a mess, they're not even worth talking about. But if it's Kyler Murray, which is a typical, that would be just so Jets to do that. But, it would be like when the Mets brought in Orlando Hernandez.
They would need a really good quarterback coach to work on them.
Well, they have Frank Reich, so they do have that going for them. I know, but Frank Reich wants a quarterback who's, 6'4" or better, 6'3", and Kyler Murray's not that guy. So I'm happy it's not Tua. Would have been a disaster. I don't think Kyler Murray is the guy. I don't know. Look, Malik Willis. I didn't think the Jets were going to get him, and I didn't think they were going to go that route anyway, considering they had all that cap space they could have, but they didn't. So maybe that tells us that they have a plan. I just hope that plan does not include taking a quarterback in the first round of this draft. Whether it's the second pick, it definitely shouldn't be the second pick. They already did that and blew it. But with that 16th pick, they're talking about the Jets taking a quarterback, and I just think that's a huge mistake. I think there's much better talent available in this draft that they could get at 16, and with the 16, they could either move up into the top 10 for 2 picks, or they could conceivably trade that for another pick next year, whatever. I think it's just more valuable in futures than it is to take a quarterback now, especially after Mendoza goes. It's a crapshoot. If they want to take a quarterback in the second or third round, I'm willing to listen to that, but he better be 6'4" or better and have a huge arm. So Otherwise, it's a project that they're going to fail.
Yeah.
And there's really not anybody available. This is one of those, square peg round hole situations where if you're desperate and you need a quarterback, you're not going to find him in the draft unless you have Kyle Shanahan or who's the other guru quarterback whisperer. Maybe it's Frank Reich, but I'm not putting all my stock in that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I see him coming to the Jets. I mean, where else is he going to go? Maybe he gets a deal. Maybe he gets a contract where production makes a difference.
I'd have to see who's on the coaching staff his first 2 years in Arizona. Maybe there's somebody out there that would be willing to work with him. But and again, it's not that I don't like him or anything like that. I have nothing against the kid. He's definitely talented. And I don't
think he's
see
definitely
anything
talented.
that tells me that he's not interested. Unless I hear it from somebody I trust, I'm not going to just take the talking heads word for it. I think there's a lot of fodder there. People say negative things about people for whatever reason, clickbait, whatever. I just think he's limited in his ability to throw the ball down the field over the middle and see above his offensive line.
Right.
But he's very good in the red zone. He's good on the run. But, what is your offensive philosophy? If your philosophy is that you're going to, roll the quarterback out and have him running for his life most of the time, then all right, fine. You want to take this guy, but it's the Jets. They can't do that. They just can't. Like I said, they don't have anybody in. Well, they have Frank Reich now, but prior to that, they've got nobody in house for the last 40 years that can cultivate a quarterback. And it's not a knock on Parcells or anybody else, but it just didn't happen. It doesn't materialize for the Jets.
You're not going to get any arguments from me. They need, I know what they're going to do. They're going to hire him. They're going to bring him in, and then they're going to bring Joe Namath in during the thing to talk to him and act like that's going to make a difference. I mean, does it not sound like the Jets when I say it? They'll bring Joe Namath in.
He's going to give you the stars and stripes, right?
He's going to be like, oh, go out there and do your job, or whatever. You could really make this happen. They're a great team. It's a great organization. I've known them for all. They just pay me a load of money to say that.
As he cozies up in his fur coat.
In his coyote coat. When he was playing, he owned a restaurant, Bachelor's 3 or a bar like club, Bachelor's 5. It was something like that. And my brother-in-law and sister used to go all the time hoping they would see him, because my brother-in-law was a huge Jet fan. They had season tickets. He had season tickets. And he lent them to me once, gave them to me once. It was at Shea, the last row at the top of Shea Stadium.
Wow.
Needless to say, it was cold, and I'm not sure any of the bathrooms worked up there, and they were dark, and people just went in there and went on the floor, kind of thing. But they were, better than whatever. And it's funny because he tried to give me the tickets where OJ broke the record. And I was like, remember the weather was really bad, and I didn't go. Nobody went.
I can't blame you. I mean, who wants to see them?
Oh, no, they were really bad then.
I got to tell you, so we didn't even talk about the Giants. And
what's there to say?
I know today they signed Tremaine Edwards to a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
But there's something missing there. I can't put my finger on it, and I know that.
Don't you think the coach knows that now? Do you see some of the statements he makes? He sounded like he's in the Twilight Zone. Oh, we're gonna be great. He stands up and takes applause at the Knick. Was it the Knick game or was it the Ranger game? I think it was the Knick game. He's standing there and they're all chanting, and he's like standing up, taking a bow. Take a bow.
It's like you say about the Emperor's clothes. If you look at the Jets and Giants objectively, take our fandom out of it. If you're analyzing the NFL and you see all these other cities that have less money than New York, building and playing in these tremendous brand new stadiums.
Yeah.
You look at the Giants and the Jets and say, those two teams are sharing that stadium? Are
How
you
could that
kidding
be?
me? How can that they should have their own stadium for home games and a traveling stadium for away games. They should just bring it with them. They have so much money available to them. But it's really disheartening, I think. If you're I mean, I know Woody, he built an ode to himself out in Jersey. Why? I'll never know. But
It's his
they,
money.
I know. It would have been more palatable for me, I think, to see them, you know, do something in tandem with either the Mets, even though the Wilpons are involved. But that Belmont project, I mean, that was where they should have been. Somewhere on Long Island. I don't know. I think it could have been done. People say no, you know, there are greater innovators out there than me that could get it done, I'm sure. So when
Everything
you
could be
consider
done.
all these other stadiums that are being built in the middle of nowhere in these crap cities, no offense to them, and you look at that concrete box coffin that they play in Jersey, I mean,
Worst
it's
stadium in Major League
it might
Football.
be the worst stadium ever built. It might be worse than County Stadium in Milwaukee. I was there before they tore it down, and that was a pretty. It was a shithole, but it had a little charm to it. And it's not Miller Park, but I've seen some other ballparks. We used to love to talk about Fenway Park because it was old and run down and this and that, but it's got charm. And now they retrofit it and it's beautiful. And same thing in Wrigley Field, right? Wrigley was not
Right.
exactly. I mean, it's Wrigley Field. Don't get me wrong. That's what they did there was tremendous. I mean, they retrofit it in pieces and incorporated it into the neighborhood. Both those stadiums are still anchors for baseball.
Right.
I'm still mad at the Yankees for tearing down the old stadium, not doing that in the Bronx because they definitely could have. They just didn't want to wait because George was dying. Whatever. But that Meadowlands Stadium it's atrocious. It's absolutely atrocious. When you look at these other stadiums in what I would say are, I don't want to call them lesser cities, but they don't have the market. They're not big market stadium. They're not big market teams. This is the biggest market with the biggest teams. You have two of them. And it's unacceptable.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. And now Buffalo getting that new stadium, and I know there's, shady finagling going on with the money. Everybody says, no, no, no. All the talking heads, oh, this is what they did to build it. No, I know that money's coming from somewhere, and we, the people, got screwed, but not saying they don't deserve the stadium. But when you see what they're getting versus
No, I have
what the
no
Jets
comment
and
about the
Giants
Buffalo.
got for what they spent, it's atrocious.
What are we gonna say?
There's nothing we can say. At least we don't have Tua as our quarterback.
Not yet. He's going to be your backup, and
It's not a bad move by the Falcons. Michael said to me, "There's no downside. The cap hit is only $1
no.
million bucks. It's worth the gamble. But you're gambling with the guy's life. That's my concern."
Yeah, but if he's going to play somewhere else anyway, what's the difference?
I agree. You're not resting the future of the franchise on him. You're giving him an opportunity to at least
And you
finish
make
out
sure
his
you
playing
watch him,
career.
and you make sure you got every doctor looking at him, and that's the way it works.
Yeah. I as long as they can protect him,
All right. So, you have anything else on football? Can we move to F1 for a minute?
Yeah, I'm interested to hear about that because I know you were telling me
F1
about.
had the first Australian race with the new cars. And I have to tell you, it was late at night. It was like after 11. It was like 11:45 when they started or whatever. I watched all the practice, which I always do. I watched all the qualifying. And what's interesting with the practice is a lot of people were saying, and it turned out to be true, that people were sitting back on their new cars, that they weren't showing people how great they were. So you
The
end up,
drivers were not pushing the cars?
yeah, the teams, they do everything
Okay.
as a team, right?
Right.
So they're not really pushing the cars. These cars, the new cars, are rocket ships, as far as I'm concerned. They look faster than ever. And it's what's the sun building falling in on you over there?
Yeah.
So what's interesting, so it's the
It's
first time in
tenants.
Yeah, they shove the coins through the slot. So what happens is the engine is now 50 fuel and 50 electric. So, and it was 80-20 before. So this is the first time that, so you have to charge the batteries on every lap. So you have to downshift and use the brakes and do stuff to keep the power that you don't use it up. So
that's incredible.
It's a new thing for these drivers, but the electric power is off the charts when you get it. When you could jump on it and pass somebody because you have full battery, it's a whole strategic thing. Not only that, the fuel is also biofuel. So they use 100% biofuel now. So it's a little bit different. A little bit different. So, but these cars are smaller. They're
so
fast.
These are not like these are not Tesla batteries in these cars because batteries are heavy.
I know, but I don't know what's going on in these cars. I can tell you this: it's like you look under them and there's like nothing there. They're like open. It's like a skeleton to some extent. The car's smaller. They're lighter. They move.
Are they safer?
They're safe. They're all safe. They were. Yeah. I saw. I forget who it was.
That wreck that I saw 2 years ago, the female driver that flew up into the building.
No,
that was F1, right?
No, there's no female F1 drivers.
Was it?
They're trying to bring female in, but they're never going to be F1 for years and years.
Oh, there was a big wreck. I thought it was F1.
So now all these drivers, and it turns out the power had shifted. What happened was at the end of last year, they knew it was the end of the cycle for this car. So Ferrari didn't invest any money in it. Now the four winners, 2 Mercedes 1 and 2, Ferrari 3 and 4. And I think Ferrari could have won. They made a little strategic difference under the yellow flag kind of thing. But what I found really interesting is that Kimi Antonelli wrecked his car in qualifying. I'm sorry, in practice, which is like 12 hours before qualifying.
Is there anybody else on the track, or is it's just one?
There's still some issues with some of the cars. His rear brakes, I believe, locked up. Jeez. And he just went 90 degrees into the wall, bounced off the wall, and smashed into the wall on the other side of the track. So he wrecked the front and the back of his car.
The back end of the car.
You know, they worked that car around the clock. They got it. They didn't make the first qualifying. They didn't come out right off the bat, but they were out before the time ran. He ends up qualifying and comes in 2, second behind pole. Amazing.
That's incredible.
Incredible work by Mercedes. But you realize when you see all when all the cars come, I mean, Mercedes and Ferrari spend 500, 600, 700 million a year on their team. They have 500, 600 people working for them, where the other teams maybe spend 300 or 250 million and have a couple of hundred working for them. So, you know, there's some aspects.
Incredible.
Just the money is. I looked up. You know what? The guy that won. You know what he makes a year? $35 million.
The driver?
The driver. Without incentives and without promotions or whatever he does for people. That's his base salary, 35.
Wow. I mean, God bless him.
I'm sure Hamilton makes 50 because Hamilton's a racer, boy. You watch him race, you can't give him an inch. He loves his car. Loves the car. He couldn't say anything. And
staggering amounts of money.
Staggering amounts of money. Just to go see it, staggering.
So
I mean, you really need to go to a foreign country. So this is in Australia. And it was the beginning of the race. I want to say the first 10 to 20 laps. Mad. Ferrari and Mercedes passing each other.
Jockeying for position.
Twice on a lap. I mean, just eating each other for dinner. But at the end of the day, I think it was strategic. But they realized they have cars. They have the car. They have the car to win.
So they're essentially figuring out strategy right now still, because the cars are newer and the batteries versus gasoline.
You may know what the strategy is. Another word is The other part of it is to execute it, right? So it probably executes different than you think it. Like Max Verstappen totaled his car on what they call the foundation race. So they go around the track before they race just to go through it one more time and warm up the tires or whatever they do. His car locked up. He went right into the wall.
Oh man!
Wrecked his car. He couldn't do the race.
Wow.
And McLaren, I'm sorry, Red Bull was
$500 million down the drain. How many?
I'm sorry. You know who that was? It was Oscar Piastri. So, because it was McLaren, and they asked him, "What are you going to do?" He goes, "They asked the head of the team." He said, "What do you want me to do? I got to race. I got to worry about my other guy." He goes, "I didn't have a chance to talk to the driver. I don't know what happened." He goes, and he took off. Afterwards, he was so pissed he left. I don't blame him. So there are a lot of issues still with the cars working them out. But I think the big issue for everyone else is that Mercedes and Ferrari got their act together. And that's a big deal.
Competition breeds success.
Do
you think that...
In my mind, just one other thing. How is Ferrari or Mercedes, but Ferrari, I say to myself, how they aren't the best car, the best driver? They make Ferraris. Needless to say, they all don't use the same engines. I saw a list. It's going to crack you up.
Well, we know it's the driver, not the car, right? Is that the old saying in racing?
I don't know. I think it's the team.
The teams are important for sure. No doubt about it. But they've got so much. I mean, everything's computerized, and I can't imagine the amount of analytics they must use.
So here it is. Please. Oh, let me see this. All right, screw you. I'll go back. It's going to crack you up. So, all right, 2006, Zoom 1, new manufacturers. Major manufacturers are Mercedes, Ferrari, Honda, Audi, Red Bull, Ford. That's new.
Red Bull,
Ford.
Red Bull Ford
made their own engines. So here it is. Mercedes engines. You're going to crack up at this. Mercedes, McLaren, Williams, Alpine.
4 different engines.
All Mercedes engines.
Okay. That's incredible. Why would they have 4?
Well, because they make Formula One engines. The trouble is they try to get them to make to their specs, but that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Ferrari is in Ferrari, Haas, and Cadillac, the new team.
So Cadillac is using a Ferrari engine?
Correct.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So, why bother?
And Honda used to be in a lot of engines, Honda Racing. They're not anymore. So wait.
Look,
Red Bull did an agreement with Ford, so they have this Red Bull Ford powertrain where Ford is really built into their specifications. They're in both there, so they're new. So they're having
Red Bull has the money. Red Bull has the money for.
They have 2 teams. They have 4 drivers.
Soft drink. Energy drink.
Well, not so soft. Is only in. But listen to this. Honda is only in Aston Martin.
Honda engines are in the Aston Martin car. James Bond rolling in his grave.
And Audi makes their own.
Well, Audi has got to be Lamborghini. What is it? Bugatti. It's all owned by. Is it owned by Volkswagen? Or what? I forgot what the parent corporate. I think it's Volkswagen, isn't it?
What?
Who's the parent company for the Audi team?
I don't know that. I think it's a kind of a mix.
I'd love Volkswagen's got to be in there somewhere, right? I mean, they own Bugatti, don't they? Or they used to.
So here's our Mercedes expansion. Mercedes remains the most widely used engine, adding Alpine to their customer after the French team opted out of shutting down its own engine program. So Alpine used to make their own engines. Audi enters full team, taken over by Sauber, a newly owned developed engine. Cadillac joined be the 11th team and initially using Ferrari units and power boxes. So they probably don't have enough time. It takes a long time to develop these engines. That may change. So Red Bull Ford powertrains, after years of using Honda engines, and they used to use something else. I want to say Lotus. Red Bull, now a collaboration with Ford, make their own engines because they moved to Honda from somebody else and they were not happy, but there's no Lotus team anymore.
Right. So
Honda,
Ford
Austin
makes
Martin
their own
Pub.
engines for this?
Yeah.
Okay. Chevy's not in this.
No Chevys. What do you think goes on?
I mean, well, listen, they're heavily invested in NASCAR anyway, but
Cadillac is the first American team in years.
What is the
Honda Austin partnership is full-fledged exclusive manufacturer for Austin, which previously used Mercedes. So they used to use Mercedes, and now they changed to Honda. Just like some used to use Honda, and they changed to Mercedes.
Yeah.
All right, what's
I'm
your
sure
question?
the Honda engines are just as indestructible.
Honda makes a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, they're incredible. Is this owned by entities that are just in it for potential bragging rights? Because they're spending incredible amounts of money competing against teams that have been in it for so long. If you're not using your own engine and you're using Mercedes engines or somebody else's engines, it seems counterintuitive.
It is, but it isn't. Because building an F1 engine, first of all,
or are these just guys with a lot of money?
There's a lot of money. I mean, these engines cost $15-20 million, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the cars cost $150 million or something. So I mean,
that's crazy.
If you're spending $15 or $20 million on an engine, you know what I mean? I'll make one for you. I mean, you think you're not going to? They have 4 people using their engines. They're making $100 million. You're making $100 million right there.
Yeah. That's incredible.
It's incredible.
That's incredible.
That's all I could tell you.
And the Red Bull sponsorship, that's just wild. It's just wild.
So yeah, they did a lot of drivers changed hands, and the thing they were talking about was that some of in the lesser team, though they never say it, the PB team, I'm sorry, the Red Bull RB team. I'm reading another update. The RB team is doing better than the regular Red Bull team, the number 1 team. So there's some issues with that. Malik Willis. Whatever, I'm not going through this again. Get it away from me. 9 hours ago. Anything newer? 4 hours ago. Bulls signed a 1-year contract with Shane. Is that their backup guy? Shane Bullchill?
Who's this? The who?
Bills.
Oh, the Bills. Shane Falco?
Yeah, you're right. Malik Willis. $67.5 million deal, 45 fully guaranteed. Deal includes a 22.5 signing bonus, a $2 million March 2028 roster bonus. The hell is that? And a 20 million, 20.5 million 2028 salary. That's like a deal. Having your starting quarterback at 20 million.
Absolutely.
Patriots, Reggie Gillum, fullback, and defensive lineman DeMont Jones. Jets, Breece Hall gets the franchise tag.
I heard he was really upset about that.
Jalen Woods resigned.
So Breece Hall gets a franchise tag. He gets $14 million plus for the season, which is an average of the top 4 salaries. But it's for 1 year as opposed to getting a 4-year deal for $45 million. So, It's a weird structure in the NFL, but this is, that's what they signed up for.
Jelaniah Woods signed from free agent, tight end. Kingsley Egenbear. There's a whole list of what they did. 1 year, $10 million contract. He's an edge. Joseph Asai, 3 years, another edge, $36 million. Defensive lineman, David Oyemeta, whatever. 1 year, $10.5 million. Defensive lineman acquired through trade from the Titans. Vondre Sweet. Linebacker Tameo Davis signed 2-year deal, $22 million. And safety Minka Fitzpatrick was acquired with a trade with Miami.
The Jets got him.
Yep, $40 million extension, 3 years. So the Ravens got Tyler Huntley, quarterback, John Simpson, offensive lineman, 3 years, $30 million, and Max Crosby. I'm guessing you're going to do a new contract with him. Cincinnati Bengals got offensive guard Dulcie Reisner, edge Boyle Maffey, Jalen Davis, and Brian Cook. Maffey got a 3-year, $60 million.
Good for him.
Cleveland
Former
offensive
Minnesota
tackle
Golden Gopher
Titus Howard in a trade with the Texans, and Zion Johnson signing offensive guard. Pittsburgh.
Oh, where did he sign? Where did Zion Johnson sign?
Cleveland. 3 years, $49.5 million. I'd sign too.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, which we didn't hear much about. Wide receiver Matt Pittman acquired. Linebacker Cole Holcomb. Cornerback Jamal Dean, 3-year contract, $36.75 million. And cornerback Asante Samuel, re-signing with a $40 million.
With who? With the
Pittsburgh.
Oh, with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Boy, all evidence to the contrary. I said Houston didn't do a lot. Here's what they did. They got Robert Montgomery in a trade with the department. Detroit Lions in exchange for offensive lineman. He's a running back, offensive lineman, Juice Scruggs, plus some draft picks. Tight end Dalton Schultz. Offensive tackle Trent Brown. Offensive guard Ed Ingram. He's good. Defensive lineman Naquan Jones and defensive lineman Sheldon Ranks. Edge Daniel Hunter, 1 year, $40 million deal. Linebacker EJ Speed. Colts. They received the transition tag 1 year with Daniel Jones, which is, never even heard of that before.
I was reading about it the other day.
37,
alternate to the
$37.8 million.
Franchise tag.
Right. Re-signed Alec Pierce, wide receiver, 2-year deal with edge Arden Key, defensive tackle trade Colby Wooden with the Green Bay Packers, and kicker Blake Grupe, re-signed 1-year deal. Jaguars, they got running back DJ Dallas.
Well, they lost their starter, right? Went to Travis Etienne, right?
I don't know. Quentin Mars, tight end. Dennis Gardeck, edge. Matt Dickinson, defensive lineman, and quarterback Montrick Brown, 3. Tennessee Titans signed a 2-year deal with Mitchell Trubisky.
Trubisky went to the Titans?
Yep.
Good for him.
Wide receiver Wandale Robinson, 4 years, $78 million. Center Austin.
That one shocked me that he got that much money, but I guess Dable loves him.
Center Austin Schottman, 1-year deal. Edge Jermaine Johnson, trade with the Jets.
Travis Etienne went to the Saints, running back from the Jaguars.
Defensive lineman John Franklin Myers, 3 years, $63 million.
I'm surprised that he didn't come back to New York, but he, again, goes to play for his former coach.
Condell Flott, 3 years, $45 million, cornerback. The other calling back Alton Taylor, another 3-year deal worth $60 million, and I think safety Morgan Cox 1-year deal. Broncos quarterback Sam Ellinger 1 year $2 million.
No kidding.
Running back, backup. Running back J.K. Dobbins.
Dobbins, where'd he go?
Denver.
Oh, he stayed with Denver? Okay.
Resigned. These are re-signed Alex Singleton, linebacker, and linebacker Justin Stunard, 3-year deal.
Stunard.
So the obvious, Kansas City, we know Walker, Kelsey, defensive lineman Chris Tonga, 3-year deals, $21 million, and safety James Winchester, 1 year, $1.7 million.
There's still some big names out there.
A lot of big names. At least
big play, big position. Washington edge rusher Jake Martin, not signed yet. Jonathan Allen from the Vikings, another edge rusher, not signed, although I think he's going back to Minnesota.
So I see that Chargers re-signed Khalil Mack. They added a defensive tackle.
Was Khalil Mack under contract? Did they give him an extension, or he re-signed there as a free agent?
Says re-signed 1-year contract, $18 million. Alec Ingle, they signed a fullback, a tight end, Charlie Kohler.
I think Mack's getting traded before,
Maybe.
like trade deadline trade.
We went through the Cowboys. We went through the Jets. Eagles picked up a defensive tackle, Jordan Davis. A lot of, boy, Commanders made a lot of moves.
Rico Daddle's out there. He had a tremendous run there for a couple of weeks with the Panthers. I wonder if he'll be on the move or go back to the Panthers. After seeing Evans go to the 49ers, Keenan Allen's still available. Although, I mean, he's 33, but I tend to think he would go back to the Chargers.
I mean, the Commanders.
We still haven't heard anything about Aaron Rodgers. We don't know what's going on there.
That'll go right down to the end. What are you kidding?
Yeah.
Let's not even mention his name. Let's call him from now on the man that should not be mentioned.
And there's Jadeveon Clowney. Who knows where he's going to be? Another hired gun. Probably also
another pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So back
Cameron
to the
Jordan.
Commanders, they did, obviously. So they got LeMay Tunsil, offensive tackle, 2 years, $60 million.
Laramie Tunsil is what do you get? 2 years, $60 million?
60.2.
Wow.
$52 million guaranteed.
Good for him. Von Miller's out there.
And a lot of re-signs.
Von Miller's 36 years old now. Calais Campbell, 39 years old. Clavon Chason, who had a good year for the Patriots, a linebacker, he's still out there. I wonder if somebody will steal him away. He's a young guy, though. He's only 26 years old.
Vikings did nothing because they don't know where they're at.
The Vikings are, what are they
That's
doing?
a place your favorite quarterback from Arizona may go. Come on. What do they want to do? Put all their money behind that quarterback that got hurt last year? No. That's not the way it works.
If they're not going to protect JJ, you can't be vested in his future, and it's not a knock on JJ at all. They've got to keep him upright. They got to protect him. They have to be kicking themselves for not keeping Sam Darnold in the fold. I thought, and who knows, maybe Aaron Rodgers goes to the Vikings.
That's a possibility. So Carolina Panthers signed Jalen Phillips, 4 years, $120 million.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a biggie.
It's funny because there's a lot of edge rushers available, and I think teams are willing to spend money on these free agents, not just because they're edge rushers, but they know they're not going to get a crack at some of these young guys in this draft.
But the Cardinals got Gardner Minshew. I mean, what's better than that? 1 year, $5.75 million.
You know who's out there that's a good player? He's 35, though. It's Bobby Wagner. He was good. He still is a good football player, linebacker. Joey Bosa's out there. Joey Bosa only 30 years old. I'm sure he'll go back to the Bills, though.
Oh, well, that's enough about
Vera
that.
Tucker is interesting. I really want to see what happens with Elijah Vera Tucker because I don't think the Jets should bring him back because I don't think they can afford to spend money on somebody they
Sorry
can't
about that.
count on. That's all right. Not that he hasn't been healthy, but I hope he gets a fresh start somewhere and he can stay healthy because he's only 26 years old. And I can't imagine, that if he's healthy, he wouldn't be a good player. I mean,
Right.
the guy basically was like Joe Klecko for a season playing 3 different positions, but on offense. And then, of course, Kyler Murray. Oh, I just lost my page. Here we go. Tyler Linderbaum to the Raiders, I thought was a big a big a big a
Big
big
deal.
deal because you're going to bring that rookie quarterback in. You've solidified your offensive line.
I agree. Big deal.
And giving him an opportunity to stay healthy. So
Center is
yeah. Yeah, for a young quarterback, that's important.
all right. I think we can end it there. We beat this stuff to death.
Wow, we've been at it an hour and a half already.
I know. So next week, we have a special guest. We're going to talk about baseball. I'm sorry. We're going to talk about basketball. We're going to talk about basketball at length.
We'll talk about the American Basketball Hall of Fame, and we'll do a little tournament action as well.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. I've been told that I don't sell enough. You go always, I feel like I'm watching Glenn Ross.
Places?
Always be closing. All right. So I want to say, please like and subscribe. We appreciate it. We love doing this podcast. We're going to have more and more guests as time goes on. And thank you so much. Justin?
Thank you. Thanks for having me once again.
If I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window.
I'll see you tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah.